tent by Belmont Harbor, a man beat me up while I was pregnant, kicked me in the head, dragged me about 10 feet down the street, unprovoked. I was sleeping. It was 3 o'clock in the morning and we had a padlock on the tent. These situations should not be possible in 2023, 2024, and that's when I went through it.
Hello?
We have a way to Rolodex properties for rent. And if you look up Airbnb statistics, there's something around 70% of their total properties that will be empty or vacant on any given day. How do you explain that? How do we walk over bodies in the literal street on the sidewalk like it's nothing? We're so used to it. We're so accustomed to it. But we have 70% vacancy in Airbnb, and that's not including regular rentals. When 2020 came and a lot of people, the housing market in the downtown area, it took a plummet. It took a hit. And a lot of people, based on the COVID and pandemic and the fear-mongering associated with that, a lot of people, fled to the suburbs and started purchasing homes. If they were going to be locked down, they wanted to be locked down in situations where they had space to breathe for their family to go outside and play, etc., and so forth. So the value, the value here in the downtown area, where you're literally, apartment on apartment on apartment right next to your neighbor, it kind of took a little bit of a hit. Not only that, but they were doing BLM riots, and there was a whole bunch of unsafe kind of disrupting going on in this area. I witnessed with my own eyes cop cars overturned and on fire. I witnessed with my own eyes stores being completely boarded up after, they were rushed by groups of people for quality items, high ticket items, purses, bags, duffels, etc. And then they resold all of those products, on the black market. So to me, it's like a no-brainer here. We really don't need to reinvent the wheel. We already have software that is developed to Rolodex and CRM our properties, their owners, their values. Why are we not matching them to people? It's so simple. I don't understand why this needs to exist. And because it's so simple, and I'm definitely not a genius by any means, but because this is so simple and based on what's gone on with my situation over the last 4 years and how it's related to what I've, been forced to see taking place with homelessness and other oppression, it makes me feel like there's some sort of hidden reason that people are still homeless. Someone is winning by leaving people in this state of homelessness. Someone needs these people to remain homeless. Why would that be? I don't understand that. If no one is benefiting from the homeless population, then why wouldn't we solve this? If not for the quality of life of the people who are experiencing it, for the quality of life for the rest of us, I don't want to walk over like some dirty man who's urinated on himself 2 times in the morning. You know what I mean? And I've had to do that multiple times. In the downtown Chicago area, 60611, which is one of the most prestigious, upscale neighborhoods that we have here in Chicago. Gold Coast. You know what I mean? So it's very curious to me. I feel like we absolutely need to invest more time and money into developing these softwares. Hotels should definitely be on the hook for a certain percentage of their rooms. And it's like I said the last time, energy is contagious. If you think of a cup of crystal clear water as good vibes, and let's just use the color purple. Okay, you have purple food coloring, and make the purple food coloring the bad vibes. All it takes is 1 drop of that, and all your good vibed water has changed to purple. And it might be a light shade of purple, so maybe the vibes, are not that bad at that time. But the more drops you put into that water, the darker it becomes, the worse the vibe, the worse the energy. We have to dilute that. We have to take the people who are suffering and put them into situations of uplifting. Put them into situations of support. Put them into safe living conditions and help them. You know, it helps us. If you can't think of it from a selfless perspective, you can go ahead and look at it from a selfish perspective. If you own property, do you want some nasty, dirty homeless person going to sleep outside of it, and then you come bring someone for a showing the next day? How likely do you think that they are to make the purchase? You know, just from whatever perspective you need to look at it, bend it that way, you know? Find a perspective that will make it worthwhile to invest your time and resources into resolving these issues, because they're affecting people like myself, and there's a ripple effect. I have 4 children. I have worked tirelessly my entire life. Since I was 14 years old, I've had a job. I've been an entrepreneur. I have 10 years experience in healthcare. There's no reason at all in heaven or hell why my 4 children should be suffering as a result of this. None. There's no reason. So if I could entice you, you know, to get your best people on the job, not even your best, get your worst people on the job. Like it's truly not that difficult. Airbnb has already created the model for us. Get a listing of beds that are acceptable for the homeless. Rolodex them in a way you would Airbnb. If someone is ill or sick or addicted, do not include them in having access to those beds. Make a different program for them. I'm so upset to hear one of my roommates in this dorm style where I'm living now. She said to me she was addicted, and I'm not going to share her name. She's a nice lady. She's very kind to me. I don't, need to know the details of her situation. This is what I do know. She shared with me during her pregnancy with her son, she was using heroin. And that when her son was born, her and her son were accepted for treatment at a place called Haymarket. So her newborn son was never separated from her. Her and her child were taken into this facility and they were helped. I was never on drugs, ever. I was never addicted. And I was calling for help every week of my pregnancy. I wasn't out hiding. I was adamantly calling and referring my issues to law enforcement, to the city's 311 department, asking them for assistance. I was accused of negligence at birth when my son was born for being homeless. That is unacceptable. That is a violation of human rights. How is it possible that we can support someone with a serious drug addiction and their child, but someone like myself who does not have an addiction, there are no options for? I've been separated from my child. That is unacceptable. From my children. Like I said before, the way that these people handle me and treat me, there are ripple effects and there are people watching. And that's not a warning or a threat. I've tried to say it a million times. They take over my phone, and not just my phone. It has nothing to do with my phone. They take over my storyline. Anytime you see them bringing in huge waves, expect problems. They don't want resolution just for me. They want resolution in general. And the more that it's ignored, the worse it's going to be. There are a whole bunch of people who are being subjected to being food, systemic food. What do I mean by that? Meaning they're creating, planting, or curating symptoms in otherwise well individuals, intelligent, well-spoken, kind, so that